Hello, everyone, and welcome to Election Vibes and Beyond. I would like to first state and say I am so excited to preview this channel. I thought about this channel during the election period and the election time, and I was like, regardless of who wins, I would love to have a place where everyone, regardless of who you voted for, what country you're in, could have a peaceful, united platform where everyone could be respectful to one another. Within stating that, if you guys could hit that like button on your way coming in, and also if you're not a subscriber, which you're probably not because I just began the channel, if you could go ahead and subscribe to this channel and also share it. The more you share, the more you like the channel will put me in the algorithm, and we can start our own little, community over here. So, regardless of who you voted for, that's not the situation here. The situation here, we are all human. And at this point in time, we have to make sure that we're getting the right information out, not the information just that we want to hear. We just need to make sure that we keep our finger on what's going on in our political spectrum and a social climate and social change. And basically, it's just our opinions and it's just a way to come together. But within stating that, I would like to go ahead and bring up and share my screen with you guys. And I want to give a huge shout out to CNN. I love CNN. This is where I get a lot of my commentary from. But I would love to go ahead and give them a huge shout out because I really don't, for me, this is my opinion. I don't feel that they're biased. I think they give the news the way the news is, and that's just the way it is. So, within stating that, this is Trump's immigration update. This was on Sunday, and I would like you guys to take a listen to and to see what Trump is up to.
On the issue of immigration. And this, of course, he talked about on the campaign trail, deporting all the migrants who are here illegally. And he was asked about that in the interview today.
Is it your plan to deport everyone who is here illegally over the next 4 years?
Well, I think you have to do it. And it's a very tough thing to do. But you have to have, you have rules, regulations, laws. They came in illegally. Yes, we're going to do something about the
What does
dreamers.
that mean?
And
What are you going to do?
I will work with the Democrats on a plan.
Work with the Democrats on a plan. The dreamers, of course, are the people who came to the country illegally at a young age and what to do about them. But it shows you that even though he said, we're going to deport everybody, this is obviously going to be very complicated to carry out, but also could be politically toxic if you're starting to go after people like the dreamers. And Trump seems to acknowledge that there.
He does. And by the way, this is something we have heard from Trump before. He's going to work with Democrats on a plan for the dreamers. We heard that in his first term. And he has agonized over this, in part because of what you're saying. I think he recognizes, and many people around him recognize, the political toxicity of potentially sending home people who have been here for their entire lives, essentially. But he also, at very key points in a negotiation about this during his first term, pulled back and basically called that amnesty. Mm-hmm. And so there's this very stark line he wants to draw that everyone who is here undocumented has committed a serious crime and needs to leave. And the fact that there's this whole group of people that, elicits, and he talked very glowingly about them in that interview, elicits a lot more sympathy, even from the people who support Donald Trump and who support a very hard line.
How will those people react if Trump has a more nuanced position on immigration than he espoused on the campaign trail?
I will say that overall, the people who voted for Donald Trump are going to go along with anything that he said. There's some reason for why he did it. That's the kind of thing that you see online with all of these far right conservative, social media stars when they are all in on whatever Donald Trump says and then he changes his mind. So I don't think it's going to be that difficult in that case. Mm-hmm. I will say that even what he said the first term, the entire campaign, this was the most sympathetic I've ever seen him in terms of immigration on anyone. I mean, the entire campaign was all about let's get everybody out of here.
Okay, for me, I wanted to let that play out. I wanted you guys to really listen. And I was saying the same thing myself when I was listening to him. This is the first time I've really seen Trump really think and have some sense of decorum when he's speaking of the situation. Time will only tell how this situation will work when it comes to immigration reform. It's not an easy task. It's not as simple as, people may think. For me, and this is my own personal opinion, everything is a domino effect. Because think about this. If you are, and this is allegedly, because it hasn't begun, well, you know, I just want, politics is very tricky. So you really have to be careful, for me, what I put out there. And for me, I really want to say first and foremost that anyone that was born here, regardless of the status of their parents, I feel they should not be in any way, shape, or form in jeopardy of being deported, because they are, for me, a United States citizen. Now, if they've done something illegal, then go through the proper channels that a normal United States citizen would have to go through. The other thing for me, and this is just me being raised by my grandparents, and this is my opinion, when you have the elderly that came over here, never were in any trouble, really never picked up the language, they don't understand. I think for me that it should be circumstances. I'm not going to say grandfathered in, but it's almost like a destitute thing. You would send that person back, and they haven't been there for 20 plus years. So for me, this is the first time that I've heard President Trump, also elected President Trump, really kind of, his tone was a little different. Now, that's not to say his tone won't change, and I really haven't had too much to say when it comes to his cabinet at this moment, because nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone who's going to be in his cabinet. And I do understand that, the Republicans, has the House and all those things. But, politics is a tricky thing. So for me, I don't know, that I just think politics, it's very tricky. And so you really have to, you just have to, weigh your options. So this is almost done. So I just want you guys to hear it.
There's absolutely no loopholes. No one can stay. He is having some kind of considerations now that he's actually won in terms of what makes the most political sense. But this is not, despite what he did the first time, this is not the kind of rhetoric that he used for the last 2 years at all.
Exactly.
A good deal shouldn't make you choose. That's why Subway just dropped the
Sorry.
price on all their subs. 20% off any sub,
Sorry about, the Subway. So anywho, you have to get to a point and say to yourself, okay, we really don't know, what is his next move. We don't. All we can do is wait and see. So for me, I look at things like this, and this is going to be a very short segment. this is just something I think. It doesn't matter what walk of life you are in your life. We have to be honest with ourselves and say, okay, you want things to go a certain way, regardless if you voted for him, you didn't vote for him. Even the people that voted for him, I personally feel that allegedly no one's going to get 100% of what they want. That's just not how the country was founded. That's not how things go. So, for me, everyone just, we have to settle in for the next 4 years. We have to take it day by day, um, executive decision by executive decision. And it's just, if you go from day, you're just going to run your blood pressure up. It does not matter if you voted for Trump, you voted for Kamala, you didn't vote. And I said Kamala. I meant Kamala. Kamala. I'm going to have to cut that out. Okay. But it doesn't really matter who you voted for. The bottom line is that there are going to be certain things that, President-elect Trump can do, and there's going to be certain things that, if he makes changes or do away with certain things, it could really affect the country. It could affect us. So I think that if I'm a betting woman, which I'm not, don't even know how to do a scratch off most of the time, I would personally state, nope, I'm gonna change that. I will not state my name on it. No, I'm not gonna do that. I just, I'm hoping that President-elect Trump stays. I'm hoping that President-elect Trump says to himself, I want to change the narrative for the next 4 years. This is my last time as a president because he can't run again. And I want to solidify my name in the history books in a positive way. He's already solidified his name in the history books and not so positive. So hopefully, hopefully, I hope that that's the way he's looking at things as he settles in his first 100 days. So until next time, I just want to tell you all, I'm just really watching my words because it's really hard to say what's going to go on. And after January the 20th, I will be a little bit more tactful with my words because then I can say, this is what he's doing. This is what he's not doing. But right now, I can't sit here and say, regardless of what he says out of his own mouth, I can't sit here and say what he will and will not do because it's easy to say what you want to do. And once you get in, it's hard to say that. So, this country was built on a lot of things. And I don't see how one person could come and undo that in 4 years. But hey, nothing seems to surprise me. So we'll just grab hold to this political world and let's see where it goes. So until next time, if you guys could go ahead and like this video, share this video, and if you did not subscribe, please subscribe. This is your host, Ree, at Election Vibes and Beyond. Until next time, you guys have an awesome evening. Thank you so much. and goodbye.